everyone, welcome back to Fitness with Apoorva with me AJ. I'm going to be showing you 9 poses today that will help you if you have a bad back or if you want to increase flexibility and mobility in your spine. So let's go. So let's begin on the floor on all fours. Get your hands completely underneath your shoulders. So your wrists, your elbows and your shoulders in one straight line and your knees directly underneath your hips. Now remember, if you have a bad knee, you can fold up a towel and keep it underneath it for extra support. We'll do a couple of cat cows here because these are very important to start with warming up the spine. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest and lift your gaze. Exhaling, round the back, push the ground away, tuck the tailbone and hang the head. Great. 2 more times just like that at your own pace. Inhale and exhale. You can hold these poses as long as you feel comfortable or as long as you want to. So our next pose is Anahatasana or puppy pose. So coming back down into a tabletop. Make sure that your alignment always ensures that your joints remain stacked. From there, slightly walk your hands forward a foot or so and maintaining the hips over the knees, gently bring your forearms down and your chest down on the mat. Get your forehead down and rest into puppy pose or Anahatasana. This is great for your lower back, your upper back, your armpits, your chest. Helps to really increase the mobility in the spine. You can also lift your gaze and rest your chin on the mat. This opens the front part or the throat chakra. Keep pressing your fingers down into the mat. Stay here for 2 to 3 breaths. Alright, to exit out of the pose, lift your chin, place your forehead down on the mat and using your strength, inhale, lift up and get your hands down underneath to come back into tabletop pose. So for our next pose, get your feet to the back of the mat and gently get your knees down, chin down and chest down, come all the way down onto your belly. We'll do a easier variation of a back bend first. So get your hands directly underneath your shoulders and zip up your elbows towards your waist. Make sure that your toes are pointing into the mat and press your pelvic bone down so that you know that your back is completely supported. Inhale. Lift your gaze and your chest up to come into half cobra or bhujangasana. Exhale and release. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Great. For our next pose, gently walk your hands forward so that your hands are making sort of a parallel railway track in front of you. Your elbow should be directly underneath your shoulders. And inhale to open out the chest, gaze forward. into Sphinx pose. So the lower body stays and remains intact with your toes pressing into the mat, knees are lifted, feet are zipped together, and your pelvic bone is pressing down on the mat. Stay here for 3 to 5 comfortable breaths. This is a very gentle variation of a Bhujangasana. Since it's much more supported, you have a larger surface area here for support. Alright, to come out of the pose, just gently get your hands towards your ribs. Lower down onto the mat. Take a couple of deep breaths here to rest. For our next pose, we'll be completely lying back down on the mat. So come onto your belly and place your hands along the sides of your body. We'll be doing half locust pose. If you're experiencing any kind of neck pain, you can choose to keep your forehead down on the mat to keep your neck in line with your spine, or you can lift your gaze and press your chin into the mat. Any two of the options would do. Keep pressing your toes into the mat. Your kneecaps are lifted, feet are zipped up, your pelvis is tucked down so that your pelvic bone is in contact with the mat. Keeping your hands down or your palms facing down on the mat. Inhale and lift one leg up. Stay there and lift the other leg up. Exhale and bring that back down. We'll try that one more time. So inhale, lift one leg up. Keep pointing your toes at the back and lift the other leg up. You're using your core strength and your entire back muscles to lift your body up. Exhale, bring that back down. So our next pose is going to be an add-on to the locust pose, which we'll be doing a full locust pose in this one. So if you're feeling that your body is not up for it, or you're not comfortable with it, or you're just starting out this practice, I would say that you can avoid this pose and keep doing the half locust till we feel comfortable enough to take on the full locust pose. Alright, so getting back down on the mat on your belly, place your hands to the sides so you can keep your palms facing down. Always remember to keep your toes pressed into the mat, kneecaps lifted, and your pelvic bone tucked and pressed down into the mat to support your lower back. Alright, we will inhale, lift both the legs up, head, neck, chest off the mat. You can keep your arms together, zipped, keeping the shoulder blades pressed in together. Whatever, if this does not feel comfortable, you can also open out to the front, pointing both the fingers to the front and your arms parallel to each other, biceps near the ears. This is a full locust pose. So whatever feels most comfortable. Exhale and release the pose. We'll try that one more time, just like that. Release yourself all the way down to the mat. I know this is a little advanced, but do give it a try. Exhale to release completely on the mat. Prepare your body. Inhale, lift your legs up and your head and chest off the mat, pointing your feet away from you, fingers pointing to the front, gaze down to the mat. Full locust pose. This is incredibly strengthening for the entire posterior chain of your body. Exhale, release back down. Superb. For our next pose, we'll have to start from our bellies. So bringing your hands down underneath your shoulders, lift up, keeping your knees on the ground, and Walk them slightly forward so they are directly underneath your hips. Walk your hands slightly forward. Tuck your toes and lift your knees up and press your hips back to the mat and stretch into downward dog. Now, downward dog is often confused as a very relaxing pose, which for some of us is, but it is also a very active pose. So let's bring our awareness into what's happening in the top of the body. So if you're feeling any pain in your wrist or pressure in your wrist, keep pressing your fingertips and the back of your knuckles into the mat. This lifts the pressure of the wrists. Make sure that your shoulder blades are tucked upwards and you're pushing the ground away so that your head is in line with your neck is in line with your spine. And it doesn't really matter if your knees are straight or are bent. What matters is the intent. So keep pressing your belly towards your thighs here, and you can also walk the dog here. So lifting one heel off the mat, pressing the other heel down, bend one knee, straighten the other and switch. So this is a great way to increase even hamstring flexibility so that you are able to stretch in your downward dog. We are only staying here for a couple of breaths. You can also lift both your heels up and bring them back down to increase mobility in the back. Superb. Now that I know that your hands are feeling the pressure, inhale and exhale to release the heels down. Take one last inhale, bring your knees down, walk your hands back and come back to Vajrasana. For our next pose, let's come to seated. So pressing your hip bones directly underneath the mat. Make sure that your head is over your heart is over your hips. The backs of your thighs, your lower body is pressed firmly into the mat, so there's complete contact with the mat. If you're feeling the pressure on your knees, you can use a cushion or something to keep underneath it so that your knees are supported. Keep pressing the heels into the mat, lift the toes off and point them upwards so that your entire posterior chain of muscles are engaged. Alright, now you can place your hands here. Some of us don't have that much of flexibility to be able to comfortably sit in Dandasana. So a great tip is to elevate your hips here and place your hands down so that your spine is in one straight line. Alright, but we are going to challenge the body today. So another great pose is a forward bend. Alright, so you can use a strap or you can use anything that you find handy here, but we are going to first try the pose in its entirety. Alright, so inhale, straighten up the spine, lift both the hands up and exhale, bend forward, landing wherever you can without bending the knees immediately. Now here you can bend the knees, so that now that you see when you bend the knee, you will feel a slight extension in the pelvis and you can feel that you are able to reach forward better. Alright, if that is where you are, lift your knees up, bend your knees slightly, walk your hands till your belly drapes over your thighs and release your forehead to the shin or the knees, whichever feels comfortable. We're staying here for 3 breaths. Alright, inhale and walk your hands back, coming back into Dandasana and unbend the knees. Now we'll try that without the knees bent so that we can really work the back chain of our body. Alright, inhale, lift your hands up. Exhale to fold a forward bend. So folding from your hips, not your waist. What we are looking at is to keep our head, neck and our spine in one straight line. There's a great stretch that opens out the entire posterior chain from your heels all the way up from the back to the head. Stay here for a couple more deep breaths. Alright, and inhale to lift yourself up and come back to neutral spine. Super. For our last pose, we'll come all the way onto our backs for a bridge pose. So placing your feet firmly into the mat, bend your knees. Your knees should be pointing up. Lift your hips and tuck the tailbone. What tucking the tailbone means is to, now imagining that this is a cup, there's a cup of water placed on your pelvic bone. You just gently tip your tailbone towards your heels so that that imaginary glass of water is supported and does not fall down. That's a very nice tip that I have learned, to always keep the pelvis tucked so that the lower back is supported. So if I keep my hands underneath my back, I should not be able to pass it through. Alright, my shoulder blades are relaxed and open on the mat. Hands are placed firmly down on the mat, and keeping and maintaining that engagement in your core. Inhale and lift your hips up so that you can make a straight line from your shoulders all the way into your knees. Keep gazing at your navel. Exhale and release the pose. We'll do that 2 more times just like that. So tucking the tailbone, inhale and lift. Keep pressing your knees away from you, forward. You should feel supported on your neck and your neck alone. You will feel your chest pressing into your throat. Exhale and release. One more time, just like that. Inhale, lift. You can also interlace your fingers underneath your hips. So this helps to open out the chest, locking your shoulders, opening the chest. Keep pressing your shoulder blades in towards each other. Hips lifted, gaze up to the ceiling. One full deep breath here. And exhaling, release your hands and come back down supported. Superb. To take a quick counter stretch, just get your knees into your chest, lift your head and neck and release. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found this video useful. These were 9 poses that are designed to help increase the flexibility in your back, or if you're suffering from lower back pain or stress or tension, these 9 poses would definitely help you. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Also give me thanks if you found this video useful and you want to see more such content on my channel. As always, I will see you in my next video. Until then, namaste.